Good afternoon, Retreat Church. It's good to be with you again today and bring the Word of God to you. Again, we're going to continue from Proverbs chapter 3, and we're just going to look at 3 quick verses this afternoon. And so the first one, starting here in verse 5, it says this: "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn from evil." Very interesting, that phrase there. Do not be wise in your own eyes. In other words, don't think that you know everything. In other words, don't think that you are in control of everything, that you can figure it all out. He said, no, trust in the Lord. Trust that He's the one that understands the truth, that He's the one that understands what's in front of you and what's going to happen. You know, one of the problems with us is that is the exact opposite of what Satan promises Eve in Genesis chapter 3. In fact, he says that she can be like God. You know, that forms a problem in our life when we're given this promise, this fake promise, that you and I can be like God. That gives us this sense of control in our life. That gives us this sense that we can avoid what we want to avoid, achieve what we want to achieve, and that we can overcome any roadblock. And really, there's a lot in that is appealing to us, that we want in our life. And so many people give you promises and then they praise you. They manipulate you in those two different ways. They make promises that can't be fulfilled. They make you think that you're better or more powerful than what you are. And then we're left with this problem. It's called reality. Reality hits us and we realize that we're not in control of our life, that we don't have all the answers, that we can't figure everything out, that we can't get everything that we need. And then we're left with frustration. And then we're left with coming back again to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord. Turn from evil." You know, been reading a lot on the life of G.K. Chesterton, and he calls this the Nightmare of Omnipotence. The Nightmare of Omnipotence. In other words, it's a nightmare for us to realize that we are not in control of our own life, and we desperately want to be. We desperately want to be like God. We desperately want to have the ultimate say in our life. And I think that's why people have resulted to this idea that I can determine what's right and wrong for me, that I can determine what is true and what is false for me, because in reality, we want that to be true, what Satan said, that we can be like God and we can know independently of God good and evil. And we want that so bad that we try to push in on that, and we try to ignore what is really real, and we try to determine that we can be the determining factor of what is true, false, good, evil. And we rely on our own understanding of that, and then it leads to a very crooked path full of dead ends. But he says this, he says, "There is no cure for that nightmare of omnipotence except pain, because that is the thing that man knows he would not tolerate if he could control it." In other words, if you think you're in control of your life, then you would have zero pain in your life. All of us would have zero pain in our life if we were in total control. But the reality is, each and every one of us have pain in our life. And pain is that reminder. Pain is that which reminds us that we are not in control. Pain is that which reminds us that Satan's promise that we can be like God is a false promise, is a lie. Pain is that which calls us back to Proverbs chapter 3. And this writing of of G.K. Chesterton was influential in the life of C.S. Lewis. And C.S. Lewis writes a book called The Problem of Pain. And in that pain, he says that God shouts through pain. In that book, he says God shouts through pain, that pain is God's megaphone. And so if you are experiencing pain today, may you go to Proverbs chapter 3, and may you slay that dragon of omnipotence, that you accept the fact and realize the fact that you and I are not in control of our own destiny and our own life. If we were, you wouldn't have the pain today that you are experiencing, because you would have eliminated it by now, I'm sure. So if you have pain, it is God's megaphone in your life. If you have pain, then it is that which is going to eliminate that notion of omnipotence in your life. Turn to the Lord today. Trust in Him. Lean into Him. He'll make your paths straight. God bless you.